for a stolen vehicle. Okay. So in this case, it looks, some sort of utility van. Again, as Gio mentioned, it began with San Fernando police, but now reaching, speeds over 80 miles per hour there on the freeway.
And of course, the concern when it comes to not just high speeds or anything else that we typically talk about or think about during pursuits like this, but when you involve a vehicle like this, right, excessive speeds then become even more of a variable, because these vehicles aren't exactly meant to climb to 80, 85, 90 plus miles per hour.
And how it could lose control.
Right.
Yeah, hitting an innocent driver, you see some of those smaller vehicles very close, in those other lanes.
And maneuverability isn't something that they're known for either, right? Because we've seen a number of times cars weaving in and out of traffic. Now, the good news, based on what we're seeing so far, is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic on the 405 as we zoom in, and we don't know at this point if it's just the driver in that vehicle or if there's somebody else potentially with that person right now.
I'm trying to see if we can make out, the name, the company name on the side, or if it is just a one of those generic storage vans, but it seems to be a logo on the side.
A number or something there. Yeah.
And if it was a want for a stolen vehicle, where this took place, what happened if it was a carjacking, if this was just, taken out of someone's a business's property or whatnot. We don't know that yet.
And one of the things right now, just in these last few seconds or so, is noticing that they've slowed down a bit. Right, getting to, I say that as we've now sort of teetered on 60 miles an hour, but it was there in the 80 to 85 mile an hour range, and now getting up to 70. So for a moment there, it looked like the car was slowing down, and now just kind of seems to be at what would typically be highway speeds, right? That we'd see at any other moment of the night, as we maintain our eye here and try to get a clearer look at the side to see if we can make out anything, because I think I do notice, like you said, Jazz, right there, 1995 on the side.
So it's a U-Haul.
Right.
It's a moving van. And so, in these cases, and, most likely targeted someone's belongings that they had, been full of, packed up inside of the U-Haul truck. Okay, so it is a want for a stolen U-Haul that started with San Fernando police. We're not sure exactly where, but someone obviously was able to call it in.
Yeah, and at this point, you're sort of waiting to see at any moment whether or not they decide to take an exit and go onto those surface streets, try to find an escape route, as we typically think about pursuit suspects. But you notice CHP, at least 2 vehicles directly behind, and just sort of using those lights to clear people out, let people know, hey, we have something going on here, clear out of the way. Luckily, there hasn't been that much traffic at the moment, but we do know when suspects end up getting on the 405 or the 10 or the 5 or anywhere else, he could go on for a seemingly long time,
and
very long time.
Heading into the north coast, right, and swerving kind of over, maybe into the carpool lane a little bit and then back out. 405 southbound. At this point, CHP has taken over. I'm not clear if their airship is overhead.
Not that I haven't been able to
or tracking this, but they haven't backed off. I mean, they're gonna, we'll see how they try to bring this to an end, where they tend to be more aggressive and on the freeway if they get a chance to. Well, but with this van, I don't know, with this high-profile vehicle.
And the dynamics, I'd have to imagine, if we could ask law enforcement what the situation would be when it comes to, you're obviously not going to try a pit maneuver or anything like that on the highway, on the 405, anything like that. But if it were to get onto surface streets, if the suspect were to pull off and decide, okay, we're going to get into an area that they potentially know a little bit better to attempt to find some sort of escape route, what the dynamics would be between law enforcement and a suspect's vehicle, when in this case, it's not a typical sedan or a truck that we see, it's a U-Haul van. Now, they could not change at all, but I'm curious as to if a vehicle like this changes that by any degree.
And I just wonder if the slowing speeds, eventually it's going to run out of gas a lot quicker than, maybe other vehicles, just as it's using so much.
Right.
But yeah, the CHP, they use that risk-based pursuit policy. And I remember, when they would give us lessons on this, doing all of our interviews with CHP, but the officers have to weigh the immediate danger to the public against the need to apprehend the suspect. So that's when they pull back if this just becomes too dangerous for those other drivers or tactical interventions that maybe can safely terminate this in a way that won't impact others.
And it's something, considering that risk-based assessment to your point about a vehicle like this, as we zoom out and you see 3 CHP patrol cars directly behind in pursuit of this stolen U-Haul van, in that like we mentioned earlier, with this vehicle being something that is harder to maneuver at high speeds, it's not something that has fuel efficiency necessarily compared to anything else. It is more than likely that it would run out of gas sooner rather than later compared to anything else, because another thing with these rental vehicles, sometimes they're not filled up at any given time, and we still don't know what exactly kicked off this pursuit to begin with, if it was someone who was using it in the middle of a move or anything like that. So, you know, we don't know how many items, or if there are any items in the back too. That could be another decision in terms of, you know, things, debris, storage, moving around there could determine whether or not the driver slows down a little bit. I mean, we've been seeing right now, this is one of the highest speeds in the last few minutes, 80 to 85 miles an hour. And then at times it starts dipping back into 65, 70 mile per hour range. But so far, it's been consistent just here on the 405 southbound. Nothing overly dramatic aside from the obvious of a pursuit, of course.
We have our desk working on getting us some more information on this. But until they do, I mean, it's really just, it started as a want for this stolen U-Haul.
And we also just saw, I believe, that a couple of other CHP troopers there sort of taking over, just coming off from the shoulder and jumping in. So they're used to this. We've been told a million times before is that once CHP has this, even any really law enforcement, they have their waves, right, where you're never going to go beyond a certain amount. And you're just going to swap out at a certain point, depending on, you know, where the vehicle is. They have folks lined up for a while. They have everything established, so they know what they're doing in this case. It's just a matter of now, what does the suspect do? Whether they continue to drive on the freeway, or if they end up deciding to pull over somewhere.
I know, and hoping that they just surrender peacefully and they can bring this to an end. But it becomes so dangerous when you are on the freeways. It's a Saturday night. People, you know, heading back home later than normal, probably, you know, out and about. So yeah, 405 northbound.
Being told right now, actually, we have Dave Avila on the line.
Okay.
I want to check in. Dave, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I have you both. Hello, Jasmine, Jill.
Hello,
Dave.
you
know, been in contact with some of the San Fernando. They did go to pull this vehicle over. They ran it, took off. They ran it then. It came back stolen. So they stayed with it. As soon as you get on the freeway, as we all well know, they'll go ahead and advise the chippies, and then the chippies will take over. And as you were referring to, Jasmine, yeah, they do have their policy where, you know, it's a little bit different than anybody else's, but it's really changed over the years. They, you know, they always err on the side of caution. They don't like to commingle unless they really have to with other agencies. And most of that is because of the the stopping of the vehicle. So they're all working off the same rules and regulations for their department. You know, but however, we've seen it also where everybody joined together and they back them up. But yeah, this individual here has been picking up the speeds that you had just mentioned. So yeah, this thing here, it's a light vehicle. So we'll just see how long it goes. And as you had mentioned before, these things usually aren't topped off until they're rented out. So that's one thing I was trying to find out, if they actually if they stole it from the yard, or if they took it from the some individual's front yard.
And Dave, I want to cut in and ask you a question here as the suspect's vehicle now sort of making a U-turn in the middle of regular traffic here. We're on surface streets now as opposed to the 405. How do the dynamics change? Because we were curious about this earlier. When it comes to a potential pit maneuver or anything else to try to get it to stop, when it comes to a vehicle like this, because it is not a typical sedan or anything else that we tend to see in pursuits like this?
With this type of vehicle, I do believe they would negotiate if their department allows them. CHP, and we know the CHP, they go up and beyond. I've been really impressed with them here for the last few years. They really increased their pursuit policy. But yeah, I do believe that they would actually pit this vehicle because it is a small, light one.
Okay, I guess it would be the even bigger, larger than this, where they would not, correct? Because of the
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a spike strip? I mean, is there one way we would see this ending over a pit with a spike strip?
Absolutely, if they could get ahead of it. But as you could see, we're this suspect here. I'm not sure if they know where they're going.
No,
it appears
entering John Wayne Airport, Dave. I mean, this guy's going to get himself into some sort of roadblock eventually. And does airport security police? I mean, with even our chopper overhead, we can only go so far into the airspace.
Well, with this one, John Wayne, right now the tower is closed. However, there is a communications between the aircraft that are going in and out of there. But it's not a Class Bravo type airspace like LAX. So no, we can actually fly into this one as the helicopter is. If we could looking at it right now. Yep. So yeah, I think that's he may have known where he was going, and he's probably doing this multi-structure parking. Get in there, duck the vehicle, get out, start walking away type of thing. So, but that black and white was right on him.
Yeah. And apparently he made it to the pickup lane.
Yeah, that's where we were just being told. And, right now, obviously, it's difficult to see and really make out anything what's going on. But you sort of pinned yourself in a situation here where I would seem to argue, and Dave, please disagree if you disagree, or it's kind of be impossible to get out of given where this person is and the situation that's sort of encompassing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty busy inside there. I'm not really familiar with this parking area here with John Wayne Airport. That but like I said, the black and white was closed. They have other units in the vicinity. They got the air unit overhead, but I haven't seen that black and white come out.
No,
so
it's also not what we would describe as a subtle vehicle either.
No.
Right? It sort of gives itself away.
And also those parking structures, not only are they packed because it's an airport, but don't you have to go through an arm usually or a gate to get in? I mean, maybe some might be a little
potentially,
if he was trying to hide.
Well, and it depends on the part of the garage too, at the clearance level, like most garages have. I'm not sure. I mean, a van, depending on the garage and depending on the size of the van, could have that clearance, but it maybe not. So that's just another added variable to this whole situation.
All that traffic and John Wayne.
But we don't really know what this suspect is running from. What caused them to steal this vehicle? They're in desperation mode right now. They're trying to get away. So if there's a cross or a guard or something, they're going to go right through it because we have no idea if they have a weapon. What type of crime they committed. It had to be something pretty bad if they went ahead and stole this vehicle, and now they're being pursued.
And all those travelers,
Exactly. Could be disrupting some potential things here as we take a look at CHP there. And one patrol vehicle, lights still on, and keeping an eye on this situation. We'll, of course, continue to keep an eye on this situation as well, because it doesn't look like we have a clear vantage point as to where that van is. But last check, it went into seemingly the parking garage, or at least the John Wayne Airport structure.
Right.
And we're just waiting to see what comes out the other end. Our desk working the situation as well, so we'll be sure to update you. Dave, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it as always.
No problem.
On a Saturday night, Dave, retired LAPD pilot. We'll hope that they got the person behind the wheel of the U-Haul.
I'm pretty confident. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you, and you both take care now.
Thank you. You as well. Have a good night.